I know that this is healing him and it's making him better and giving him more strength to be able to do this. It's going to make him a better man, a stronger man. And I thank God for that he had the opportunity and he took it, was bold enough to just come on out and be able to express himself. Because it means so much when you can express yourself. When you lose a loved one and you can talk about them, you can think about them, it means so much. I'm just going to go over a few things. We're not going to do the rest of the tape because you know how long-winded Billy is. Amen. It's almost a whole nother head. Well, he's going just as strong. And I'm like, man, how do you get all that energy, that stamina that just keep going like that? Well, he had a lot of practice. And like I was saying yesterday, he used to talk me to sleep every night. And when we were little kids growing up together. But I'm reminded of the time, just about the last time he was able to communicate. I wanted to go and see him, and I took my sister, Mary, Mother Wiggins, with me. And so we go in his room, and he's asleep. And so I grabbed his hand and just started rubbing it. I rubbed it 2-3 times, and then I stopped. And then he just wakes up like he'd never been asleep and said, I was trying to figure out what was that, what was touching me. He didn't want us to know that he was knocked out. And when we came in, we saw he was knocked out, but we don't act like he's always alert. And so we talked and we joked and we talked about old times. Ruth went over some stuff with him and I went over some stuff with him. And so finally he and Ruth were talking about canning food, putting up food, preserving food. And Ruth said, well, how do you can beets? How do you put away beets? How do you make the beets? And so Billy said, and you got to listen to me to get what my point is going to be and what was so funny about it. And so Billy begins to tell Ruth the recipe, basically, for canning beets. And he said, well, you take your beets and you slice the beets up. And then you put some vinegar in there with it. And then put some brown sugar in there. Get me up. One of y'all get me up. In the same tone, he says, get me up. So Ruth and I did, when he said the brown sugar, and then he goes in the same tone, get me up. No inflection, no exclamation mark, no change at all, so that we would know that he was saying something different other than telling us how to do the recipe. And so we're just listening, and I'm like, and I'm the type of person, I'm a context person, and and I'm a person that, I just follow the flow of what you're saying, and I listen to the inflection in your voice. If you're changing, if you put a comma in your voice, there's a comma, I know it's a pause, and he never paused. There was no comma. He just kept on talking, and then all of a sudden he looks at us, and he looks at us real strange, and we look at each other like, what? Is something wrong? We thought something was wrong, something was happening at that point. And he's looking at us like, y'all didn't hear what I said, both of y'all. He said, I don't think either one of y'all can hear good. Y'all, both of y'all sitting right here. Y'all didn't hear me say, get me up. And we had a good time with that one. I said, well, Doc, I said, the way you said it, I thought it was part of the recipe. You just kept on with what you were saying, and then you just put the get me up right in the same tone. So I never knew that you really wanted us to help him up. So he wanted us to pull him up because he was laying down. And we thought that was one of the funniest moments we ever had with him. And the time that I was going there to see him, we just sit and talk for hours, and he would just talk so many deep things and, so many serious things to me, and he'd bring so many things back to my memory about us growing up. And one day he was talking about us in the pastures, and we go where the cows were when we were little boys, and we just lay on the ground and just be looking up at the sky. And as it get dark, we'd be looking at the stars and just talking about them, and we'd have so many conversations. It was almost like we were the same people. We were just that close, and our minds were just so into nature. And we just sat there and just enjoying the beauty of the Lord, really. We didn't know God like that, but really we were enjoying the beauty of the Lord together even when we were kids. And then I remember one time we went to that same pasture, and there was a big bull with the horns that's real long and twist. I mean, huge. His head was like big as all three. It looked like his head was big as all two of y'all together. I mean, huge head. Of course, we were boys, kids, but it was a big cow. It was a big bull. And so Billy, he loved animals more than I did. He loved flowers, he loved the sky, and we both loved that, but he loved animals a lot more than I did. So this day he wanted to go and get in the pasture and go and pet the bull. I was telling him I didn't think it was a good idea, And he said, no, it's gonna be all right. I looked at him, and he looked in my eyes, and I could tell he's not mean. He's not no mean bull, And so Billy had on a red shirt or something. And so he climbed over, and I was always so protective of him, And he was the same way with me, just protective. And so he climbed over. And then I cautiously came over after him, looking and checking the bull, because I didn't trust the bull. That thing was huge. And the big horns sharp. And Billy started walking toward him just as naive and like, this bull, I'm just going to pet this bull and love on this bull, because, basically, how he was when he left. God's thing is not going to hurt you. It's God. God made it. It's love. It's going to love me like I love it. All of a sudden, that bull started and looking crazy, and he started running real fast after us. And so I took off. I took off flying. And so I climbed over the fence, and the fence was like, had a ladder to go on one side of the fence to the other, one of those type ladders that go overlap the fence. So I climbed over, and I thought Billy was right behind me, but Billy had failed. And so I went back in there and picked him up and just kind of held his hand until we got out of there. And that bull, he started hitting the ladder just before I got Billy out. He was really after Billy because he had on that red. That bull went crazy when he saw that red. It was just amazing. But that was one time, and that let me know that he was just full of love and, just innocent. And he figured, if I love them, they supposed to love me. And he was like that even with his doctor. We had his doctor there yesterday at the homegoing, and his doctor actually loved him like a brother. And Billy knew it. He said, yeah, man. He said, my doctor, he just loves me. He loves me. He said, when they told me, they gave me my report on how I was and my condition and everything, He said, my doctor just got down on his knees and began to cry next to my bed. And I said, well, wow, I want to meet him. But, I mean, his love was so strong that, I mean, it just affected people. It affected this white brother doctor in such a way that Billy said, you know what? When I leave here, I want you to come to my home going. And the doctor promised him that he was going to come, and he came. So Billy once again got his way. Amen. It seems like he always end up winning. And he was such a fierce competitor. He made me better. He made me better than I would have been because he was such a competitor. I mean, if I did anything with him, I had to really do it. In Billy's mind, I'm winning. I'm going to beat you. I love you and everything, but I'm going to beat you at what we're doing. And so if I ever wanted to beat him, and then in some of those games, we played basketball. He said, he told me just recently, he said, yeah, some of those games I just let you win. I said, really? He said, yeah, I didn't want you to feel bad, so some of those games I just let you win. So he would never lose. No way. If he's not gonna, even if he loses, he's not gonna tell you that he lost. So you really didn't get a good win because in his mind, he still beat you. So his personality and growing up with him was just, it made me sharper. His whole personality enhanced my personality because he was so difficult at times to understand and to get through to, that I had to be a little smarter than I normally would have been just to, get to him and, that type thing. And so I thank God for all of that. Everything was just working for my advantage. But on the other hand, he wanted to do everything I wanted him to do. But he wouldn't make it easy sometimes. Sometimes he'd just fall right in line, yeah, okay. And then sometimes, I think if you do it this way, it'll be better. And then he'd give you all the reasons and everything. So what I do is I just give him, calmly, I just give him, what I think. I give him all my points. I give him all my logic, my reasoning. And I kind of just back off and let it go. In a few days or a few weeks or whatever, he ends up doing it anyway. So I learned how to deal with my brother, and I knew him that well. And so toward the end of his life, I could tell that he wanted to tell me more than what he was telling me. But because he loved me so much, he didn't want me to be hurt. But yet, he confided in me so deeply, and he loved talking to me about everything so much. It was like a controversy within himself, and I could see it. So he would not tell me, what was really happening, but at the same time, he knew that I knew him. And I knew he was holding that back on that because he cared so much. And so whenever we talked, we would be making plans for this year. He's talking about he wanted to do this, and he wanted to have a chicken house at his house in Bolingbrook. He want to build a chicken coop and raise some chickens. Talk to the mayor. Get the mayor to change his mind about the ordinance in Bellwood there. And so I knew how to play him all the time. I said, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Although I already knew that my brother was dying. I knew it. And yet, I was like, yeah, man, well, the only thing I need you to do is just start eating. Because if you're going to hang with me, man, you're going to have to be strong. You can't be all weak and like that. So he said, yeah, I'm working on that, So every time I talk to him, how much did you eat today? He'd have to tell me. And so it was just a hurting thing when I knew we were going to Florida for Linda's birthday celebration. And so I went to take him communion, and I wanted to talk to her, and see her. So I took communion there, all ready and everything. Because I figured maybe you'll be talking enough, or, you'll be in the state where you can take communion. So I come and I rub on him and shake his hand and everything. And I finally get him to wake up. All he would do is just groan real like real loud. And then he opened his eyes and then he looked at me and I said, you know who I am? I'm your brother, Casey. And he just looked at me and then he went on back to sleep. And so I just sat there and I prayed and meditated and just watched my brother laying there. But I knew it was the last time I was going to see him. And so I began to talk to him. And I told him, I'm going to Florida. We're going to celebrate Linda's birthday. And I won't be back till Monday. And so I'm going to come back here Monday. But what I want you to do is just keep on holding to God's unchanging hand. And it looked like he kind of acknowledged that he made a movement. He hadn't been doing that, but he made a movement like he was acknowledging what I was saying. And so then I left. And that was the last time I saw him in this life. Amen.
Amen.
And so I had my moment in Florida when I found out about it. And God blessed me to not have to cry anymore after that and break down or nothing. And so it just shows the power of God and how good he is and how true his word is. He is my comforter. And he gave me the comfort when I needed, and he gave me the strength. Even yesterday, he gave me the strength that I needed. Because those things are not easy, especially when it's a loved one. You have a sick feeling in your body. And it's hard to explain, but there's a sick feeling that's in your body, and it drains your strength at the same time. And then you gotta be composed enough to be coherent when you're talking and thinking and putting stuff together. But it's my God. Hallelujah. My God, my God, my Savior that strengthens me. And he gave me the strength. And with the saints praying, prayers of the righteous avail much, and they really do. And I thank all the saints that just prayed, and y'all just fall right on in there. When we put a prayer request, y'all right in there, and God's been answering. But this was God's will. And that Saturday morning, was it Saturday morning? Yes, that Saturday morning, the Lord just let me know that was going to be it. And so I began to text out on Facebook. Y'all know what the text said. And I said, he told me strongly that he wanted to go and be home with the Lord. And that was the first time he ever said that. All the other times he just said, well, we're just going to believe and, I'm trusting God, like that. But he said, Casey, I want to go home and be with the Lord. I said, okay. Once again, I agree with him. Amen. I said, okay. And so the Lord just spoke to me and told me to tell the saints that we need to just basically let him go. Let his will. Billy wanted to go and be with the Lord. Let's let it go. Let's let him go. Let's stop holding him here. And he ready to go home. And so I put it out. I think that was about 8 o'clock that morning, 8:30 maybe, Saturday morning. About 6:30, 6:40 p.m. that evening, that's when I got the news that he had made his transition. I said, well, wow, look at the power of God, the wisdom of God, how he just gives us what to do and then he makes it happen. Amen. And it happened. And it hurt. I felt the hurt and everything, just the separation of somebody that's basically been me all my life. He was just that close. It was almost like we were the same. That separation it's devastating. So God only let me experience that one time, and I thank him for that. And I truly, when I release him, I know that he's going to the Lord. He's present with the Lord. And I don't have to protect him anymore. Amen.
That's right. It's true.
I don't have to. He got the greatest protector he could ever have.
It's true.
And so I thank God, and I just, as the older son, the pressure's always been on me to protect. Amen. And, you get that thing that's like, wow, what else could I have done that this might not have happened? But it had to happen. It was God's purpose for him in his life, to live his life, and for him to go the way he went even. There was God's purpose in it, and his plan. But you do have those thoughts, And as a protector, and wanting to make sure nothing happens to your loved ones, your family, and like that, especially your siblings when you're coming up, it makes it a little tougher. But you gotta have the Lord, because he will give you the strength, and he's given me the strength, and I feel great. I feel good. I feel encouraged. I feel like we're going to carry on with him in mind. Amen. And some of the things that he stood for and was determined to get done, that's the way I look at it. We were going to do a lot of that. He wanted to move our trailer, our office trailer. And so we were having a hard time I'm going to let you go, having a hard time getting everybody together to go out to Pembroke to move it. He said, I didn't know what you were going to think about it, but this is the idea I had, and I wanted to see how you felt about it, And he said, I think that trailer, instead of being up here, should be out back in that back area near the ghetto area. And I said, oh, we got one area we call the ghetto area on our property. And so I said, I said, you know what? I think it would be better there too, really. And he was so happy. He was so thrilled. And the next thing to do was to get it over there. And so we couldn't seem to get anybody to help us to hook it up and all of that. So God gave me the strength to be able to hook the thing up and all that, hook it up to our tractor. I was able to pull it all the way around to the back, right where he wanted. So right now it's parked right where Billy wanted it. I said, if you want it right here, and he said, yeah. He said, well, pull it up just a little bit more. And so I would, what was that? Billy, stop it. Anyway, I would pull it all the way till exactly where he wanted it right now. That trailer is parked exactly where he wanted it. And that's where he got what he wanted again. And that's where it's gonna stay as far as I'm concerned. I'm gonna leave that trailer right there. And that was his desire. And what I wanted, since God let me know that he was gonna leave, I wanted him to have everything that he wanted. I just wanted, everything to be just the way he wanted it. We did the best we could with that, and I'm sure most of us did. Amen? I appreciate that. I appreciate your prayers and for being with us in every way. And then supporting us on yesterday. That meant so much to me. I felt so much strength from the support that I got on yesterday. With all the people that I know and our family. And even though that didn't make it, I know they were praying, and I thank God for them. In Jesus' name. And unless somebody else just wanted to say something, we're going to dismiss.